There's something about settling the score that gets everyone into the game. The change in momentum, the sudden explosiveness from the stands. As soon as the gloves are dropped, the attention quickly shifts to typically the two players that are filling the dance card. And on each and every team, there's always a player that's more willing to step up than most. The guy that's partially paid to step in and oftentimes protect his teammates. In this video, I'm going to go over the best fighter from each and every NHL team. And with that, here's the first part of the best fighter from all 31 teams. Probably one of the more obvious ones on this list, Delorier is known around the league as being one of, if not the best fighter currently in the game. With 14 fights to his name on the season, the forward at 6'3", 219 pounds can pack quite the punch, as most of the physical confrontations he's been involved in have ended with his team getting a boost. While routinely taking on the heavyweights of the league such as Jamie Oleksiak, Tom Wilson, and Kyle Clifford, there's no question that the Quebec native is the best at scrapping in Orange County. If you're looking for a good old-fashioned punch-in-the-face contest in Arizona, then Lawson Crouse is definitely your guy. At 6'4", 220 pounds, Crouse isn't afraid to get involved in the extracurriculars when need be. With 12 registered fights thus far in his NHL career, Crouse has mixed it up with opponents such as Scott Mayfield, Nazem Kadri, and Adam Lowry. I suppose there's really no argument here on this one. Even though Chara is the oldest player currently in the league, he's also the tallest. Not only does the captain use his height to his advantage, but also his ridiculously long reach, which he uses to keep opponents at a distance and limit their ability to get quality jabs in. At 6'9" and 250 pounds, the defenseman is still one of the most feared around the league when it comes to dance contests. So I could have gone with Rasmus Ristolainen on this one, but for me, Wayne Simmonds would still be my choice. As the Wayne train hasn't shied away from fighting tough customers over the years, such as Matt Martin, Ryan Reeves, Tom Wilson, and Jamie Oleksiak. Even though he's not always the biggest dog in the fight, at 6'2" and 185 pounds, Simmonds is one of those that's definitely scrappy and always down for an old-fashioned duel. As one of the few notorious enforcers still left in today's game, Lucic has been roughing it up for over a decade while dropping most of his dance partners in the process. At 6'3", 231 pounds, Luch was seemingly built to brawl. A few guys he's engaged with on multiple occasions include Derek England, Dalton Prout, and Brandon Prust. While there isn't much grit on the roster in Raleigh when it comes to dropping the mitts, Edmondson is definitely known to pick up the slack when need be. And he did exactly just that during the memorable game for the Canes last season against heavyweight Kyle Clifford. At 6'4", 215 pounds, the Manitoba native before joining Carolina was routinely filling the dance card with 10 registered fights for the Blues.
This is Big Joel's country here!
Another team that isn't exactly known for being physical, the Hawks, do have an adequate guy to answer the bell in Dennis Gilbert. Even though he's relatively new to Chicago's roster, he made sure to leave his mark in the AHL when it comes to the fighting department, with 10 scraps on record. At 6'2" and 216 pounds, the defenseman has fought opponents such as Wayne Simmonds, Gabriel Landeskog, and Jason Demers.
Gilbert gives a couple of rights underneath Dakota Joshua, the rookie trying to hold on, but Gilbert's not going to wait for him. Dennis Gilbert, a few more rights, just jackhammering away, and he's got Joshua down to the ice.
In the Mile High City, there's no one tougher than Matt Calvert. Sure, there's Nazem Kadri, but for Calvert, the way he uses his slightly smaller, 5'11", 186-pound frame so efficiently is definitely something to marvel at, as he routinely, fearlessly takes on guys such as Zach Kassian and Dion Phaneuf that are far from his weight class. And the fact that he actually won a fight against Rick Nash, who's 6'4" and over 200 pounds, is pretty remarkable to say the least. It's probably no surprise that CBJ's captain is here, as Foligno has been consistently taking up for his teammates since day one. At 6 foot even, 208 pounds, the forward has shown over the years that size doesn't always matter in the ring, as he's held his own against heavyweights such as Kyle Clifford and Tom Wilson. With 31 fights on record in the NHL, Foligno is for sure one tough customer. Another no-brainer here, Alexiak towering over most at 6'7", the defenseman at 255 pounds is never one to turn down a punch-in-the-face contest. While taking on the cream of the crop in the fighting department, such as Zdeno Chara, Nicolas Deslauriers, and Tom Wilson, the Toronto native is one of the Jamies routinely settling the score in the Lone Star State for Dallas. Grit is definitely something that the Wings in the Motor City know something about, with guys like Tyler Bertuzzi, Philip Hronek, and veteran Justin Abdelkader in the lineup. Even though all three can sure scrap, my choice is the guy that's been taking countless majors for the longest time, in Abdelkader. At 6'2", 213 pounds, the forward has been dabbling in the extracurriculars for over a decade, going all the way back to his days spent in the minors where he fought his way into the lineup, pun intended, with 11 registered fights in the AHL alone. While there is another suitable choice for the oil in Darnell Nurse, Kassian still came out on top in my mind. Currently leading his team in fights last season with 3 on record, Cass, at 6'3" and 211 pounds, is one of the toughest guys out there. Just ask Matthew Tkachuk. As the Ontario native has been dropping guys left and right since he was suiting up for the Peterborough Petes of the OHL. With a whopping 34 fights on record in his NHL career, there's no doubt that the Assassin is one guy you don't want to make angry in Edmonton. For the Panthers, fighting may not be as proficient as it is on other squads, but even still, Florida often finds themselves relying on Ottawa native Mackenzie Weger to settle the score more often than not. At an even 6 feet and 200 pounds, Weger has recorded 9 fights thus far in his career with the Panthers. Even though he typically chooses a dance partner within his class, such as Kasperi Kapanen or Marcus Pettersson, he's still not afraid to mix it up every now and then with guys like Evander Kane and Nazem Kadri. With guys like Jake Muzzin and Kyle Clifford long gone from the City of Angels, Curtis McDermott has definitely been one picking up the slack in the scrap departments. With 5 fights last season alone, McDermott, at 6'5", 255 pounds, isn't afraid to challenge the best of the best to a duel. And when you're able to win a bout against guys like Deslauriers multiple times, I think it's a fair statement to say that you can hold your own in the ring. Those Foligno boys really know how to scrap, don't they? And the younger of the two, Marcus, has been doing just that since joining the league, with 38 fights currently to his name. At 6'3", 224 pounds, the Sudbury native has no problem taking on guys on multiple occasions such as Tom Wilson and Radko Gudas.